Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. This is a game I've really been looking forward to. I don't know about everybody in chat, but earlier this year I watched the Netflix American Gladiators documentary miniseries, and 'cause I was definitely one of those early 90s kids who was all about those larger than life superheroes on the American Gladiators, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really good series that I definitely recommend watching. And the first thing I thought of when I watched that series was, I wonder if there was a video game of this. Yes, there was for the NES. And then after that, naturally, my next question was, I wonder if anyone speedruns it. And sure, there was. And then to my absolute joy, it gave me more joy than it probably had any reason to. It was here in the submission pool for Fleetfest 5 Kickin' It Old School. So it is with the utmost pleasure that I will now hand things over to MixMastaPJ. Please do take it away.
There, American Gladiators for the NES. Not the SNES version, not the Genesis version. That one. Oh. Oh, okay, gotcha. Hey guys, I'm MixMastaPJ. This is American Gladiators. This is not as cool as the SNES one or the Genesis one. That one looks a lot more like the show. This one looks a little bit more platformy, but I promise you guys it'll still be entertaining nonetheless. Down here, if you can see on my lap, I'll try to raise it up here a little bit. I got my controller with a little camera mounted to it and a PS5 3D printed grip there. So if you're wondering what in the world is going on there in the controller input there, it's just kind of how I do things on my stream. I usually have different controllers on the wall for different charity events that I take a part in. So I'm really excited to be able to make one of these for this game. But hopefully everything goes well today. We're going to try and make things nice and smooth. World record of this game is just a hair over 20 minutes, and that's if we get the nice little glitch at the end. So the estimate there might be a little bit aggressive, but I think we're ahead of schedule, so that's good enough for me. All right, enough talking. Let's get started here. We're going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we got 5 events in each level. First one we're going to take is Joust, and that's because of where it is on the screen. You just have to hit the button, and all of a sudden it jumps right into the game for us. Every single one of these fights, the Gladiator is a little bit vulnerable in one particular position. Now, in level 1, it tends to be pretty constant. That first guy is vulnerable in the middle. This guy's vulnerable with shots to the face, so we just keep hitting him in the face over and over again. But if we get too close, he can still hit us and push us back a little bit. As we get further along, it kind of turns into a fighting game where we have like combo moves and things like that, where we happen to be vulnerable in different changing places as the fight goes on. But it's pretty steady and easy as we're going on here. The other great thing about this game is not the music, but the sound effects. So wanted to make sure that one got carried through to you guys there. Oh, we're going to jump down here by accident. That's all right. You have a chance to get the super stick there if all goes great, and I jumped too soon and missed out on it. But if you land that super stick, then you can actually one-hit kill this last guy. So not so lucky, but that's all right. We'll take him out the old-fashioned way, and that's Joust 1. Now, I did watch this series on Netflix. I had actually already been really familiar with American Gladiators. I've been speedrunning this game since 2016. First game I ever speedran, and then never speedran anything ever again. Until 2019, I came back to speedrunning and noticed that other people had played this game since then and grinded this a little further and took back the world record. So this game, by far, I have the most hours on of any game that I speedrun, but I predominantly speedrun NES games, and most of them are as quirky and obscure as this one is. I'm not typically one to be grinding the particularly popular titles, so this is right in my wheelhouse. I love everything about it, and when I got the world record again back in late 2020, I actually commissioned Laser on Cameo to do a little congratulations video. So, pretty awesome that he did that, and then he had the documentary right afterwards, and you can even see in the documentary there's a little what's it called? It's an appearance of the NES game when they're going through all the American Gladiators merch. So if you go through that, they go through it pretty quickly, but you do see the complete in box copy, which I happen to own myself. So American Gladiators, always special to me. That was the wall. It looked nothing like the wall on TV, but we got 3 more of them, so I'll explain more what's going on there in a sec. Now we got Human Cannonball, which was always the scariest events for the Gladiators, apparently, because it was just, they got hit by a ton of force here, but unlike the show, we got to do 4 of these in a row, just like Joust. So we're going to go on these platforms from 1 to 1, and the other thing that's different from the show is they move. That's how they change the difficulty here. So they sync the platforms and the ropes differently. So that it's not simply grab the end of the rope and then release immediately. Like this one here, if I were happen to release there, the Gladiator would actually be too low and he'd be able to block me. So we have to wait till the second pass through for it to sync up correctly, that even if he were to raise the pad, I'd be able to knock him out anyway. So you can see that the pedestals here are slightly off, but that won't change things too much. It just means I grab the rope a little bit later, and then I'm in the right spot at the right time. So it's level 1 human cannonball. It's not meant to be particularly difficult, but you will see later, cannonball probably has the greatest change in difficulty from level 1 to level 4. All right. Now we got ourselves a free event, Powerball. Powerball was the opposite of a free event in the show, but in this game, all we got to do is stuff all the buckets, and if we do that, we get a 1-up. We just have 54 more seconds to do it with a timer in the corner, so it's basically an auto-scroller. A good time to kind of explain what's going to happen here in the next little bit, though. So we're almost done all these events. We have Assault right after this one, and that will be the end of level 1. Then we'll do it all again for level 2, and everything will get slightly more difficult, with Powerball just getting 5 less seconds. But the Joust event, the Gladiators will get tougher. The Wall event, the Wall will be longer, and the Gladiators will be in more challenging positions. In Human Cannonball, the patterns will be more difficult. And in Assault, you guys will see in a second, the enemy gets 1 more HP, and the weapons are in really unfavorable places. So people tend to remember Assault more than any of the other events from the show, just because it was like, oh my gosh, I'm shooting this thing at a Gladiator who's firing these tennis balls at me, and I'm trying to hit this bullseye on top of him. Not quite emulated perfectly in this game. We do actually, it's kind of more of a shmup, where we have to hit the Gladiator 3 times before he hits us 3 times. So we're going to do that, hopefully. We're going to grab our little weapon right here by pressing B. Press A then. Oh, we just missed him. Notice how quick his items go, and mine don't go as fast, but that's alright. We've already hit him twice. You can kind of lure him towards you or far away from you, depending when you fire your item. Not making any hits here, but that's okay, because even if we... Okay, we got him. Even if you don't happen to take out the necessary HP and plummet him to 0, you can just cross that finish line. If you haven't been shot 3 times yet, then you can go that route and still complete the level. So that's level 1. We're now 25% through the events so far. Alright, on the Joust 2, things are going to get a little bit more complicated here. This guy is going to block everywhere else but the middle for a second, but then he's going to start blocking middle, and that's when we want to go low. So when we feel the block in the middle again, like that's when we want to go low to the knees. That's just a little 2 combo trick that we got to pay attention to. Nothing crazy as far as a casual playthrough, but from a speedrun perspective, like trying to really master exactly when that timing is going to happen so that you don't get any of your hits blocked is huge. Because that can be the difference between 3 or 4 seconds necessarily by the animation, and if he counters and pushes you back, now you're 2 hits behind effectively. So we got to go a low-high combo here. We can carry that through, and then as soon as he blocks high, we're going to go mid, and then back low. All right, we're going to try and get the super stick this time. Hopefully we don't fall down. I'm going to jump over here. There it is. And like we said, if we land the first hit here, then he'll go down on a 1-hit kill. Luckily, we know he's vulnerable in the kneecap there, so we're going to take him out with a low hit, and down he goes. And that's level 2 Joust. All right, off to the wall. Now, the wall. Probably the most complicated event as far as controls go. You probably noticed before, I was using my fingers instead of my thumbs, and that's because the B button controls my left hand, and the A button controls my right hand. Now, if at any point in time, both hands are not on a grip, I immediately fall down. So, I gotta be really careful when I'm trying to go through some of these places that are a little bit more narrow here, that I always have one hand on the wall, no matter what. So I'm taking some really aggressive diagonal lines here towards the edges. I just have to make sure that one of my hands is always touching the wall. Now, I got those gloves right there. Those basically turn off the A and B button and just let you use the D-pad, but you lose a lot of your precision this way. As you can see, I'm really just kind of winging it and just hoping I don't go too far into those pink blocks or off the side there, and just staying attached to these grips. There we go. Not super aggressive speedrun strat there. That's how you kill runs. But yeah, the super aggressive strat there is just to try and cut the corners and be as efficient as possible with all your button presses. But a lot of runs can die on the wall with one incorrect press there, but that was a pretty good climb. So that's wall 2. We made it all the way to the top there, and you can see we did a lot of lateral left to right movement there. The TV show definitely doesn't do that. The color palette changes drastically from level to level 2, so let's see what happens here as we get the human cannibal. You see the pedestals are now, instead of red and blue, we got some green and olive. And you can see the Gladiator speed's picking up. They're going up and down a little bit faster. We got to be a little bit more cognizant of where it is. Look how fast this guy is going up and down. So our window of where we can release off this rope and still connect is a little bit smaller now, but we got it. Now we got to try and get these special item gloves that'll come flying at us here. And grabbing those allows us to slide up and down the rope, which is super important to give us the right angle here. but it's also really cool if we're able to get this glitch. We're going to try and clip through this ceiling. Yeah. Oh, no, he fell off. Darn, he was just leaning backwards instead of leaning forwards there. That's okay. Almost got it. That's what you try to do there, is clip through that ceiling, and then you can save a whole lot of time because you don't have to wait for 2 pass-throughs, but that's all right. We almost got the ceiling clip. Pretty tough trick to land. We got pretty close, though. All right, so that's Human Cannonball. We got our auto-scroller here coming up in Powerball 2. We got one more ceiling clip to attempt, though. We can still do it in Cannonball 3. It doesn't exist in Cannonball 4, but we have one more chance at it. There's another big glitch coming up in this run, though. That's pretty much the difference between the world record and everybody else, and that is the hand bike glitch in the Eliminator. So once you finish all of these events, just like in the TV show, there was a big, giant obstacle course at the end of the show called the Eliminator. And typically, you'd be going against another contender, trying to finish the Eliminator as fast as possible. Hopefully, you beat them, and if you do, then you win the prize or whatever, move to the next round of the competition, that sort of thing. But in this game, the Eliminator's like your boss level. It's the end of the game. If you beat it, you beat the game, no matter what. There's no one else you're trying to beat. You're just trying to survive and not die. Well, there's 5 phases to that. There is a medicine ball platforming section at the beginning, and then there's a hand bike section, and then there's a conveyor belt section with a bunch of medicine balls, and then there's another hand bike section, and then finally there's a zip line section. Well, we're going to try and wrong warp with the hand bike so that we can skip from phase 2 hand bike to phase 4 hand bike and skip over the conveyor belts entirely. So I'm going to explain what that looks like during the next auto scroller. I'll give you guys a cliff notes on that, because that glitch is kind of complicated to explain at first, but once you guys see it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's what I'm hoping for, and then if we get it, it'll be real hype. But it only works if you know what's coming. So this time, Laser's got 4 HP, and they put the weapons, as you might notice, in a little bit more obnoxious places. They put like off to the side here, so it's kind of vulnerable, but that's all right. We'll just cross the finish line anyway. Won't let him take us out. All right, that's the end of Assault and level 2. So now we're on to level 3. All right, and you can see the joust here. Color palette change again. Now we got some purple and some burgundy colored ones. And this guy is vulnerable mid, and then low if we get blocked, but it didn't happen, so we just comboed him off with the middle hits. This guy's a little more complex. These pattern steps are a little bit long, though, so if you get out of rhythm, it can be a really long time to try and get it back, and maybe you even get hit 3 or 4 times and pushed back to your own pedestal, so really connecting early and often is super important for a speedrun. Like, joust runs can be super various in their actual times here, but luckily we got all high hits there, and then we got to hustle to get this super stick. We'll get over there, keep our momentum, see if we can one-hit kill this guy in the kneecap again. That's joust 3. Alright, wall 3, a lot of lateral movement. We're going to be doing a lot of diagonals, because diagonals move at the exact same speed left to right as moving just plain left to right does, but it also lets us move up and down at the same time. So you're going to see me what looks like I'm taking some slow movement to it, but I'm actually just trying to line up diagonals, because they're the faster way to go. Rather than going up and then to the right, it's just faster to go diagonally the whole time, even though it doesn't look quite as efficient. That's because up-down is so fast. But left to right and diagonal are the same speed laterally. So if you're going to go lateral, you might as well go diagonal. So we're going to grab these gloves here and try and outrun this gladiator. And then we're going to do a neat little trick here. Normally they want you to go up that right side. Okay. But that right side is a couple gladiators that get in our way. So what we're going to do is we're going to cheat here. We're going to try and cross this gap. Now, what did I tell you before? One hand has to always be on the wall. So I have to make sure that before I start climbing again, I always have one hand on the wall there. And as I did, I kind of just crossed over that gap carefully. Now we're going to try and squeeze these gloves before this gladiator steals them. Alright, cool. He didn't grab us. If a gladiator happens to touch us, we just fall off the wall and start over. We'd lose a life. It's not the end of the world, but I mean, it takes us like 30 seconds to climb this thing, so I'd prefer not to do it again. But that's wall 3. Alright, cool. So now we're going to head off to Cannonball 3. We have a chance at a ceiling glitch there again. One more thing, though, that they're going to throw us at the Cannonball. Some long-distance jumps. Yeah, this definitely wasn't in the show. First of all, look how fast this is going. Oh, my goodness. The rope, the platforms, everything's so quick here. That's alright. Can you imagine? Jeez. Alright, look at this guy. Where is he at? I don't even know where he is. Oh, he's all the way over here? Alright, to get this glitch, though, we're going to need these gloves again. So we're going to get all the way over here on the end. Grab them. slide down to the bottom, take this guy out, and then let's see if we can get a ceiling clip. Oh no, I jumped on the first one. I'm supposed to jump on the second. Mixed up my cannonball ones. That's okay. Had we climbed on the rope there, we could have actually scaled all the way to the top and grabbed a 1-up, but that's okay. We have to wait 3 times, though. This is kind of a slow one if you don't get your gloves here and you don't get the ceiling clip, because nothing lines up nicely. Even the TAS waits 3 pass-throughs here and then releases at 6 o'clock, like that. And that's the perfect moment where the Gladiator is going to be crossing right in the path of you, and they can't block it in time. So luckily, we were able to connect with that. That is the end of Cannonball 3. We got Powerball 3, or I'm going to finally explain what's going on with that Eliminator glitch I started talking about last level here. So, what will happen is, because there's 2 handbike sections, we're going to try and jump onto a handbike at the end of Phase 2, and then we're going to all get excited and hype, and hope that a medicine ball hits me. And the reason it does that is because if the medicine ball hits me, it can bop me backwards, and I can jump back onto the platform. And then I'll jump back to where the handbike was. And they'll be like, alright, well, he was on the platform, so he's about to jump on this handbike area, so we'll put a handbike there. And it'll be 2 handbikes on the same rope. And the game will think, oh, well, since he's been on 2 handbikes, he must be in the second handbike section already. So we take an intentional death, and it wrong warps us almost to the end of the level. Which is good, because the conveyor belt section is absolutely miserable. If you've ever played this game before, there are so many jumps in that conveyor belt section that are, let's just say, incredibly dangerous, that you don't know, you can't actually avoid the medicine balls that are actually going to hit you. They have not spawned on the screen yet. You have to make a jump and hope that a medicine ball doesn't, like, spawn in an unfortunate position. Like, you don't even have a chance to react to it, so if we can avoid that section entirely by trying to get a lucky wrong warp, that's what we're going to do. It would be really cool to do it in a marathon, so let's hope for that. We've already taken 2 hits. That's a little scary. Yeah, as you may notice, Laser's got even more HP, and those weapons are even in scarier spots, but we got all the way to the end. Good Guy Laser, still up there on Cameo. I think a lot of other ones are on there, too, now. I think I remember seeing Zap and Ice on there, too. I don't know if Nitro is, but he did up his price. I know, I wanted to be quiet during that Human Cannonball hit, because the sound effect on that is just so good. And that has to be where the budget of this game went, right? So, a couple combo hits here we want to try and nail. The level 4 ones are simple patterns, but they shift back and forth really quick. So, you notice I had to go high, medium, high there to combo him out. It was like fighting games before fighting games here. And you can see he parried that against me. I kind of countered it and sent me back a little bit there, but able to get back on the pattern just fine. All right, we got to do a low, high, mid combo here. Let's see if we can connect all 3 in a row. I'm going to do a low, high, mid. Oh, nope. He was blocking there too quick. That's all right. Now, this super stick is hard to get. What you got to do is you got to jump to this side, get to the end, spawn it, jump back to this side, and then jump over here. That way you can keep your forward momentum. You can jump backwards to grab the super stick, but then you got to also jump forwards to come get this guy. So it's just much easier from a speed perspective to leave and come back sort of thing. That's what we did. And that is, we're done with Joust. Those are all 4 Jousts now. So, we got Wall 4. Probably the scariest event of everyone who ever played this game growing up. Oh my gosh, that was a rainbow split for me. That's the best ever Joust 4 that I've ever performed in 7 years of playing this game. That's kind of cool. Alright. I'll have to go back and actually frame count that and see if I didn't just like split early somewhere or late on another time. But as you can see here, very intricate wall patterns. Very, very easy to not have a hand on the wall and fall down just by accident. So you can see I'm very deliberate with my A and B presses. Really trying to make sure that I never press the wrong one or press them out of order. And making sure that my hand is in the right place before I proceed to the next spot. So, took care of that intricate spot here. Now we got to worry about this fast-paced area. So I actually cut right there quicker so that Gladiator doesn't spawn right away. As you can see, the gloves make it easy, but I want to make sure I can run the Gladiators into that empty space. Because the Gladiators are like heat-seeking missiles. They're not smart enough to know the real patterns. They're like red turtle shells from the SNES days of Mario Kart. Because if I just go down a little bit, the Gladiator goes down a little bit, as you can see right there. Alright, toughest Gladiator in the game. Can we get around her? Oh, yeah. She wasn't going that fast. We got it. Easy peasy. So, yeah. That's the wall. Now, they took a lot of liberties at the wall, obviously, right? It would seem that we're like now 20 stories into the air with all this wall climbing we've been doing, but we'll get a chance to scale down that elevation a little bit later. Now, Cannonballs here get really complicated as far as patterns go. So you got to wait on multiple pass-throughs for some of these, some long-distance blind throws, some tricky glove spots. Just everything here is a little bit trickier than it has been before. Easy to lose lives in your first playthrough if you don't know the pattern. So luckily there we were able to make that connection. Let's see if we can grab these gloves. Nice, got that. And now we can't grab this one on the first pass-through. The rope and my platform go incredibly slow. The other Gladiator, incredibly fast. So it's going to be really tricky to get these to sync up. But lucky we can scale up the rope because we got those gloves. We can get that one up. Our pattern will not actually line up until the fourth pass-through now, around 6 o'clock, as Pass does as well. So I'll get quiet since it's our last chance to hear a big old smack and a Gladiator scream. We're going to release at 6 o'clock and hope this connects. There we go. Very, very nice. Where did they say he grew up? Pacific Northwest, right? Like Washington State or Oregon or something, I think. Gemini, I thought, came off really good in the doc. He was kind of annoying to me in the show growing up because I thought him and Nitro I didn't particularly like because I thought they were too hyper. I kind of liked how chill Turbo was, but then Turbo wasn't even in the doc. Even though he was basically Season 2 to Season 6 or whatever, non-stop. He wasn't one of those end of Season 1, beginning of Season 2 guys. I don't even think he went on tour with them, so he wasn't in there like Tower was. And Turbo was always my guy. And now Turbo, like, doesn't do interviews for any of this stuff ever, and it's just like a volleyball coach at some Southern California college or high school or something. Like, wouldn't want even anyone to know he was a former American Gladiator, but that was my guy. Alright, cool. Off to assault. We gotta hit him 6 times. Probably not happening. Especially with those weapons in those really mean places. So we're just gonna use these little bunkers to block some of those tennis balls from us, and hopefully that we have enough HP, we get 3 of it, while he's got 6. That we can make it to the finish line. Alright, 1 hit, not that big of a deal. Yeah, we got there. Cool. And we're off to the Eliminator. The big scary obstacle course here at the end. We're going to hope that we get ourselves that hand bike glitch I was talking about. So here's those big medicine balls I was talking about. They just seemingly spawn out of nowhere. Can't really predict them, but notice how bad gravity is to my guy. Like, it's so slow. I jumped, and that medicine ball that bopped me backwards wasn't even on the screen yet, so it wasn't like I could actually avoid it. I can't control my movement once I'm in midair, really, so... But I can duck. If I duck and a medicine ball hits me, it does not stun me as badly. But you can see here, this is kind of an auto-scroller. See how the screen is moving without me moving? It's worse than that. Normally, in auto-scrollers like, I don't know, Mario, if that side of the screen hits you, what happens? Well, it pushes you along. In this game, however, you just die. So if you touch the left side of the screen, you're just dead. Oh, we didn't get the lucky medicine ball, sadly, so we're not going to be able to do the wrong warp. I was hoping to get bopped back onto the platform and grab the hand bike again and get 2 hand bikes at the same time. Alas, that's not what they wanted. They wanted us to do the conveyor belt. That's okay, more American Gladiators we got. So, this next section is like the beginning section, but more miserable. Oh my goodness. Clip through the end of that platform. You try to get right to the top so you can get maximum elevation, because our guy is quite the athlete as far as climbing and jousting and human cannonballing and powerballing and assaulting, but he really can't jump that high. Everything else he's pretty good at, but as you can see there, he does not have it. Wow, that was almost hit me. Oh, there we go. You can see that slow fall is just so tough to try and navigate the medicine balls with there. There's one more Hail Mary jump that we have coming up here, where you basically have to jump and pray that you will not get hit by a medicine ball. Oh, that one's pretty bad. This is the scary one. We're going to run over here and... Oh, God goodness. All right, cool. We got there. If those medicine balls had come a couple of frames sooner, I think we would have gotten bopped too far backwards to land on the platform. And then we would have to restart the whole conveyor belt section again. But we're winding down here. We got the last little section. Remember how I said we climbed like 20 stories on all those walls? And it was like, hey, when are we ever going to get back down to Earth? Well, it's right here in all these zip lines, apparently. So at the end, there's like one zip line, right? You got to touch the tape, and then you got to push through the gladiators to get to the finish line. Not in the NES version. In the NES version, you got to go from zip line to zip... Can you imagine? No harness or nothing, just like, I'm going to jump from one zip line to another moving zip line, and then to another moving zip line as we go faster and faster and faster. even imagine how insane this must be. Like, wouldn't he be flying backwards on this one? It's just unreal to me. But yeah, this is my way of saying, oh, this is how we got back down from 1,000 feet in the air and scaling all those walls. Oh, there's the audience again. Now we're back home. Cool. And that's American Gladiators. Time is going to be when that timer in the corner hits 0. As you can see, it's counting down there. And time. And in typical NES game fashion, we have a pretty bland ending. First, here's a couple cheerleaders, gladiators. Okay, cool. I don't know which ones they are, but okay, that one on the right over there looks like maybe gold. The other one would be lace. There's some Gemini Nitro, maybe. And then in the middle are 2 contenders. Was I both of those people? Well, they're both in blue, right? So that's both the same player. Was I the girl sometimes and the guy? I don't know. They were unclear on that. But that's the ending, because now you're at the game over screen. So, all that work, one of the most difficult games in Blockbuster video history to ever rent, and you get yourself one congratulations screen and then a game over screen. That is American Gladiators, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed all the lore and stuff that goes along with it there, I also encourage you to check out the Netflix doc. It's super duper 90s, it's super duper hilarious, and I always imagined that if a couple of things had gone differently, American Gladiators would have 30 seasons, and professional wrestling would be the obscure thing nobody remembers. I think it would have been cool if like that would have been the thing that carried on. Wrestling is its own neat thing, not for me, but had American Gladiators survived, I'd definitely be watching that every day. Thanks so much. I got another NES game coming up for you guys in just a few moments here. But yeah, if you're looking for more obscure NES nonsense, I've always got some on my Twitch channel as well. And I'll see you guys with Skater Die 2 in just a little bit.